who his daddy was?
It was, don't tell me, it was, hello?
Hey there, Mr. Boatwright.
Hey, see how you going?
Everything's all right, man. I found out a little bit of information about Johnathan and David.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you were right in what you were saying. I didn't get a chance to read all of it, but if I had to weigh in, I would weigh in on those cats had some deep love for each other, and it was brotherly love.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more than that, Mr. Boatwright.
You think so?
Yeah, because you know who his daddy is, right? Johnathan, you know who his daddy was.
It was, don't tell me, it was Saul, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of Saul's boy, one of his sons.
Yeah.
I think that was his baby boy. And and David, you know his daddy's name was Jesse. He had a bunch of boys too. David was the seventh boy. He was the youngest.
Yeah, okay.
And you know Saul was gonna kill David.
Yeah.
And he run away. Now, when they first, David killed that giant,
right.
And Saul wanted to know who he was, so he invited David up because Saul was king. He invited him up to the royal castle and was talking to him, and Saul liked him because he was he helped Israel.
Right.
And when Saul boy saw him and David saw Saul boy, they immediately took a very strong liking toward each other. And so that I knew there was a reason that Saul was trying to kill him. Saul didn't want him at his house. And and I think it's in 1 Samuel or 2 Samuel, whoever wrote the book of Samuel, said that they was eating dinner. Saul and his family and Johnathan and all of them sitting around the table eating dinner. And that boy brought up David's name and were talking about him. And Saul said, in other words, he said, nigga, don't you never bring that little boy name. You done brought shame on our house.
Right.
So, I mean, and when I meet somebody, when I meet a woman, I'm not going to give her all of my personal effects. I don't care how fine she is, how much I love her. I'm not going to give her my vehicle, my house, unless there's some. Now they said that boy did say the love that he had for Johnathan. He ain't never loved a woman like that.
That's right. I read that.
And for Saul to say he done brought shame and disgrace on the royal family by having such a feeling for David so Johnathan got up from the table and ran away, and he went and told Saul what happened. Told David what happened, and at that hour that's when they kissed, because they knew they couldn't no longer be together no more.
Right.
So they kissed and said their goodbyes to each other. And Saul, he went he was seeking, because the Philistine was at him again, and he was seeking God for guidance in battle. But he had done, he wanted this. God wouldn't listen to him. He was trying to talk to him, but God wouldn't listen to him. So he said, I got to find somebody that know how to get in touch with God. So he evidently don't want to talk to me. So one of them guys that was that walked with God, I think it was I want to say, what is that guy's name? But anyway, he had passed, and he needed to talk to him. But the only way he can talk to him is get a soothsayer or a witch doctor or somebody that can talk to the dead. So what he had done ordered everybody that knew how to talk to the dead not to do it no more. He would put them to death. So everybody left around Saul, man. They didn't want to have the witch doctors and all that. So the only way he can get to one of them to get something, he disguised himself and went and found this witch doctor that can talk to the dead. And he was dressed differently. They say he dressed up like you didn't know who he was. So he said, told us, I want you to call Samuel. That's who it was. He said, I want you to call, because Samuel had died. He said, I want you to call up Samuel and ask him so I can talk to him. So she said, no, I can't do that. If Saul ever hear about me doing something like that, he'll put me to death. Don't you know we can't do that no more around here? And you come and ask me that? So Saul took his disguise off and said, well, I'm Saul, and I demand you to call up Samuel right now. So she called Samuel up from the dead, from what the book said. She called Samuel up, and Saul spoke to Samuel. And Samuel said, man, what you want waking me up out my death sleep? What's wrong? What you want? He said, well, I tried to talk to God. He won't talk to me. So I want you to talk to him because I want to know how to defeat the Philistines again. And he said, man, you woke me up out my sleep for that. If God don't listen to you, what make you think he going to listen to me for you? He said, now just for you waking me up like this today, this very day, you're going to die by your own sword. And not only that, your children going to die by the sword this very day. So this. And when Saul got back and went to battle, the Bible says he fell on his own sword and killed himself. And the Philistines killed his boys too. And then after that happened, David went into great mourning. I mean, he hated to lose that boy. I mean, if that's brotherly love, ain't none like that ever been. I believe.
But, I thought King Saul became jealous of David because David was popular among the people too.
That could be it. But he was kind of mad. He was mad with David too, cause David was trying to court his boy. He didn't like that homosexuality thing going on.
No, he didn't like that.
No, sir. That's like me coming to you and saying, you know, I love Dez.
Yeah.
I always loved him to death. I loved him more than I ever loved a woman.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you.
You would probably say, well, see what
say your last prayer.
That's how Saul felt about that thing. Oh, he said it at the dinner table. He said it at the dinner table. It made Johnathan mad. He got up from the table and ran. And he went and met David and said, you know, they could no longer be together. And they realized that. And that's when they kissed and departed to never see each other again.
I tell you what, the preacher who preached that thing, I heard on the radio on TV. He was trying to emphasize true love, you know. And that's what he came for. He didn't go into all that now.
Well,
he was trying to emphasize that a true love is with a person who, if you're down, they'll show up. And if you I had the thing now. And he said if you move up in life, that he won't be jealous. Matter of fact, he rejoice. You know what I mean? And there was one other thing that he emphasized, but he was trying to show true love, and in his saying that David and Johnathan had that because even though David knew that Johnathan was going to be next in line for king, but Johnathan was saying that David, you ought to be something like that.
He was saying that too. Yeah. Now, if it was a woman that that came to Johnathan and said, I love you more than I ever loved any man. Yeah. You know, you look at it a little different and say, well, you know, ain't no homosexuality going on there. You know, that's real true love.
But look at this though. God asked all his followers to love him to that extent. You know, that you forsake everybody else and you don't put nobody before him.
Yeah. And that's the love of a God. In other words, have no other God before me.
Right. And see, as the man said, a God in our life could be a car. Yep. It could be a fine house.
That's right.
It could be a diamond ring.
Yep.
Diamond ring that you love. And I have seen that.
Could be a woman.
Could be a woman. That's right. But he's a jealous God. That's what he said, right?
Yeah. He don't want you. You know, not jealous that he'll mess you up about nothing. But now I tell you what. Now he did deal with Israel, but they were sinning though. They were doing all kind of stuff.
I don't know why we over there taking care of the country of Israel when they did what they did. They were just hard-headed people. Yeah. And I don't believe that we didn't have more there. We won't have that much problems in the Middle East.
No, we sure wouldn't.
But the United States brought those so-called immigrant Jews from Europe. And in 1948, the UN, which the United States controlled, the UN, they made that Israel a state.
Yep, sure did.
Gave all them white Jews.
You said the right word, white Jews are Jewish people. They're not real Jews. They Jewish.
No, they're not real Jews. But then they tried when the Ethiopian people came over there and that other country, what other country name? They came over there for citizenship. They wanted them to go to school and verify their belief with their Jews, you know. And they wouldn't do it because they come from disciples. They came from a certain chapter, not a chapter. They came from a certain sect,
right?
12 tribes, you know.
Right.
So they wouldn't do it. So Israel has changed the law and just accept them as they were. You know? But that white man had messed everything up over there. And they got every weapon you guys they have in order to keep peace over there.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
And I tell you what, nobody don't want to mess with Israel too slick.
No, man. They were. I know one time Egypt. Remember Egypt and Jordan and three or four Arab countries jumped on at the same time. And man, beat all of them down, man. Well, that Bible. If you want to read some stories, boy, I'm talking about a good story. You read the Bible.
Oh yeah, man. I read with great understanding. If I don't understand it, I ask for understanding and wisdom to understand it. But
you hit that dead on the head.
Yeah, I mean, what the killer or the smoking gun was when they had dinner at the royal. You know, when Saul them sat down to have dinner.
Right.
And the Bible said Johnathan brought David up at dinner, and Saul said, you know, in so many words, I dare you bring that boy name up in here. You know, you disgrace our family with this homosexual stuff. That's, in other words, that's what he was saying. Yeah. And Johnathan got up from the table and ran away and ran and found David and told him what was going on. Yeah, but he was gonna kill David twice. Yeah, that Johnathan, the one that went and told him, don't you come over there today, boy, because Daddy want to kill you bad, you know. But then that second time, Saul didn't talk about it, and David messed around and come over there, but he got away. I don't know how he got away. I know Johnathan helped him get